terrorist football, like just absolute anti-football, not having it. I think I played number 10. I was chasing Verratti around. Scary. I think Verratti was playing. Insigne was playing.
Favourite teammate while you were at Blues?
Yeah, we clashed a lot, but we kind of knew it, and we knew we needed each other in that sense. Like we'd clash a lot on the training pitch. I remember crying like to Bealey once, being like, I can't do this. Like I'm training with these lot, and mentally it was such a battle.
Welcome back to the Blue Rising podcast. My name is Will Brazier. This is your home of all things Blues. Joining me as ever is my best friend in the whole wide world. Good he's not out on the golf course because the weather is terrible. Tommy Mooney.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, are you okay?
I'm good, yeah.
Pleased to be back with me.
Yeah, I mean, I always like a Wednesday, Will.
Yeah.
I really do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just one day a week for a couple of hours. That's all you need. Joining us today is one of my favourite players of all time. A true blue, a tricky winger, a man that I want back. Please welcome Nathan Redmond. So you get claps. You get claps. How are you? You well?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. That was a nice touch, huh?
Thank you, mate. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good at my intros. Am I right at my intros?
Yeah, I mean,
Falls off
that was
dramatically
decent, to be
now.
honest.
Yeah,
No, that was decent.
Starts up here and then
he's peaked.
yeah,
He's peaked. Don't expect that level.
I'll walk out now.
Like,
Looking
yeah.
for the next one soon. won't I?
Exactly. Yeah, you get a clap up on the way out. Are you okay? How are you? It's the summer.
Good.
Where do we find you? What are you doing?
Plugging away
Yeah.
as usual. I mean, it's summer, but the rain's slapping,
It's
isn't
horrible.
it? So the West Midlands hasn't changed, but no, we're good. We're good. Alive, healthy, breathing. So that's a positive.
So you finished last year at
Mhm.
Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, yeah,
What's how was that? How did you find it?
yeah. It was good.
You were
Good.
Taylor as well, weren't you?
Yeah. With Taylor, character, good character, the boy. But no, it was good. It was good. Obviously, we got a result at St Andrews.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, Toddy Campbell.
That's been all for today.
Yeah. No, Toddy Campbell stopped winning, but no, it was it was good just to be around something, that was sort of had something to fight for a little bit, Obviously being at Chef Wednesday before was a little bit more difficult because the writing was on the wall and you're up against so many things politically and things that are going on in the league. But there it was just, it's a massive club, and I think there's a lot of massive clubs in England that are sleeping giants, and I think Michael O'Neill and co that came in done a fantastic job. So it was good to be a part of it. Good to still be in the environment and keep the wires ticking.
So you've had your rest, little rest
say
after the
so.
end of the season, but you're now ticking over. No,
I've had-
no contractors yet. You're
No.
yet to decide where
Yeah.
you're going to go, but you're certainly looking forward to next season.
Knock. No, I feel good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel good. I think there's loads of different stages in football, isn't there? And I think when you get to when you get to the 30s, you start thinking about a lot more than just football. And I think it's important where I go, but it's more so for me. It's like I said with Blackburn, it was more the feeling. And listen, if I could chuck on a royal blue and get back home, that would be one of the first things I'd do. But loads of things have to come into fruition for that. But it's more so what you feel. You've got your family, kids and stuff to think about as well. But it's more so what you feel and what type of project it is. And I don't really want to end up signing somewhere just to sign somewhere and say, oh, yeah, I'm still in the game. Something has to feel right. And I think that's the most important for me.
You've still got plenty of time. If I can play till 38, you've got at least another 6,
So
7
we were
years
talking
left.
about we before. I said it must have been them Tuesday night clubs that kept everyone going. Well, they've stopped now, but yeah, no, we've. I think there's a lot left in the tank. I think. So I just we'll see what opportunities come up where I can hopefully get a chance to prove it.
Is that the main thing as well for you? Because as you mentioned, like even last year there was a couple of clubs, and then you've been to a few in recent years. Are you really trying to? I know football changes
Yeah.
on a dime, but would the ideal be to try and get part of? I mean, two words that are synonymous here are the project. So is
Yeah.
that trying to find somewhere where you can really bed in?
I think so. But also I don't want to sound like too big-headed. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I know what I have to offer, and I think that's more than just football ability.
Yeah.
Whether it's helping a lot of young lads, navigate their way into becoming full-fledged senior members, whether it's because I think my journey has been, I'm proud of my journey. You can always look back on hindsight and say, could you have done more? Could you have done this? But that's irrelevant. I think it's just, as you become an older player, you start to think, how can you help a little bit more? Not just on the football pitch with your ability, 46 times a year or however many games it is. It's what can you do around the building? What can you help to help everyone become better people, better footballers? And I think that's the sort of, I think since having my injury at Burnley a couple of years ago, that was kind of one of the bigger things I really tried to tap into, was how can I help these group of lads achieve promotion via not playing.
Which
So-
is important, isn't it? Because
Which-
we
yeah.
always talk about how important the dressing room is.
Mhm.
For an injured player with the experience that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have,
Yeah.
you can still have some role to play.
Yeah.
Even though you can't get on the pitch, it's about that dressing room feeling and growing that, if you
Yeah.
like.
I think, Scott Parker was great. Vinny Company was great with me in terms of allowing me to be sort of free and talk to lads like one-to-one in the dressing room, or come out on the training pitch, or start my rehab early so that, on the training pitch I can just stand on the side and watch and, just give my input here and there. And a lot of the lads ended up gravitating towards myself, and, there's a few other experienced members that were there at the time. But just to be able to help in any way at that time. And I think that little period helped me, because then afterwards you kind of end up leaning on that if you're not playing. So, once I got back fit at Burnley and start being in the squads, and I'm like, right, I understand this is a crucial period. I've still got a lot to offer, I feel, ability-wise, but, with the role that we're in and we're fighting for top 2 and want to get promoted, is it something where I need to just park the ego to the side and look at the bigger picture? So there's a lot I've learnt in the last couple of years, and I think, as I said, ability-wise, I still feel like I've got a lot to offer, but, I think it's just more about that, and that's why I said I'm wanting to be a part of a project rather than just something where, it's reaching for, just to stay in the league, for example. So yeah,
You speak about projects, you speak about your journey.
Yeah.
Let's start with that here,
let's go back.
because we were looking back at it today as well, and just some of the players that have come out of that academy, obviously you being one of the headline ones as well, but just talk to me about what you sort of, especially around that sort of when you were 14, 15, sort of playing above your age ability, who were you sort of teammates with at that time?
It's weird because it happened really fast, even at 14. I remember at 14, I don't know if they still do it now, but they start to give out like the 2-year contracts that take you up to 16, and then with a potential to the scholarship.
Yeah.
So I was like one of the last ones in my age. I was watching like a lot of lads get these 2-year add-ons in terms of contracts. So it's guaranteed for 15s and 16s football, plus a scholarship. And I was like, it's not, doesn't look like it's happening for me.
It's a nervy time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think, obviously I've got a little boy as well. Like he's football mad, and he's only 4, he'll be 5 soon, but like, he's football mad. And I'm like, would it be the same? Would I be just as nervous for him? But no, I was one of the last ones, and I don't know, something just clicked. I don't know if it was being on day release and seeing the first team around and seeing how close you were to it. But when you're on day release, you're training with your age group, but someone from the 16s might need someone. So I used to see lads like pop over to the 16s, and then they pop over to the 18s or something like that, and you realise how close you are. And I don't know if the penny dropped in my head, but then I did end up getting the 2-year contract and then the scholarship. But I think I ended up obviously getting on the bench for the reserves as well at the time. So being in that sort of out of school day release sort of system helped me, because I think it just brought me closer to the realization that I'm not as far away as I think.
And you're in the building with the first team squad.
Yeah.
So
you
that
could see
makes a
them.
difference.
Yeah, you could see them, and like even like Radhi Jaidi, he was at Southampton when I was there. And I remember seeing him like walking down through the building, and like Roger Johnson and all these players, and just thinking, it's not far, it's attainable. And then looking down lower down the peg as well, with like looking at the 16s and the 18s, boys that you've seen from like under 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s, because it used to be in age groups, used to be in even numbers, didn't it? So it used to be the evens and the odds. So like 9s, 11s, etc. would all play at home, and then
Opposite away.
10s, 12s, everyone else would play away, and whoever's playing at home way would switch. So you get to know faces in the older age groups. So then seeing them progress as well was kind of like, it's really not that far off. So the big thing, I think you're right, was being around it.
Because some young players are a little bit overawed by it.
Yeah.
they're scared to see or bump into the first team players, aren't it? But it doesn't sound like you were. You enjoyed it.
No, I think because you knew it was inevitable because Wastel's was so small, so you was there at Wastel's. It's really tight, especially in the back where all the change rooms are so tight that you don't know who you're going to bump into.
Yeah.
So it could be the first team gaffer. It could be the 21s coach. It could be, the starting centre midfielder for the first team at the time. It could be one of the under 18s. But also that old school vibe was like, if you get caught by one of the 18s or the 16s, you could be getting beat up. So it was like, you got to have your wits about you, but also you don't know who you're going to see. And it was part of the journey that was sort of so exciting.
You this time, you're just to throw it forward, you're really making a name for yourself, obviously going away with England at youth level as well. I want to fast forward it to, can you remember your first day with the first team, sort of getting called into, where were we, sort of 2009-10 period, aren't we?
Yeah. No, I always remember Terry Wesley was here at the time, and he always said to like lads after training and in dressing rooms and after games, like he would always say like, if you play well enough, I'll get you a chance over there. So he was never not knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Like every Monday, and he'd always like invite lads around in his office and stuff, and then he'd pop out of his office and maybe just go and see like first team gaffer and then pop back down and just be like,
Is that, knowing what you know now,
Yeah.
is that quite rare, like having someone to go into bat for you that much?
I think so, but he just made it simple for us. Like Steve Spooner was obviously the coach as well.
Yeah.
So Spoons was like, it was hard as nails. Like he was tough on everyone.
Spoons has had every role at the club, hasn't he? Apart from the podcast. Yeah.
But it's a testament to him, isn't it? He's fantastic, and he was unbelievable for my development. But it was him and Terry Wesley. And Terry wasn't soft, but he was always kind of like, if you played well, you knew you played well, and he would ensure that he would get you an opportunity to train over there. And I don't really remember how my opportunity came about, but I know I trained really well. I know.
It was sort of them senior. Do you remember like getting there and?
Oh, theirs was minging. That class was minging. It was scary, man. There was. I remember. Obviously, we were speaking about Richard Bill before.
Yeah.
Off air, he was one of my coaches from like under 10s.
Yeah.
11s, 12s, 13s, 14s. Like, was really, really close with him. And I remember crying like to Bealey once, being like, I can't do this. Like I'm training with these lot, and mentally it was such a battle because like it was Stephen Carr, Barry Ferguson, Roger Johnson, Scott Dan. There was Mehdi Nafti. I remember Jordan Much was training with was in the first team at the time. He was just about to get his chance. Horrible group, like great lads. Once I
Was it like a proper old fashioned group?
but then there was lads like Curtis Davis who was like a little bit more.
Spoke very highly of you, didn't
Yeah, he was. I still speak to Kurt to this day as well, but he was more of like the new gen.
Yeah. Cuddly
older
characters,
boys, yeah,
as opposed to shouty
yeah,
characters.
yeah,
Bit more
yeah.
You, what would you?
Oh,
be?
100%. I'm a shouty character.
Yeah. So there was like I'm not gonna say these are bad guys, by the way.
No,
Like, they were great for my development again. But like when you're listening to the tactics, so you're in the opposing team and I'm playing on the left wing, Stevie Carr's starting at right back, and you're just listening to what the boss has to say, and he's just pinching you back, or he's like stepping on your toes, and you're like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, do I say something? Or like, do I just let him do it? And it was constant, or like if I got the ball and had a decent touch or managed to go round a couple, I'd get ironed out. Like Fergie would just come through out of nowhere, clean you out, and just.
So that's
like,
a daily test for a young
yeah.
player joining the first team group.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long time ago since I did that, but
Yeah.
it's a daily test, isn't it?
It was like that wasn't. I don't think I was doing that as young as like 14, but I think like 15, 16, like being dripped in with the first team, training at 18s, but it was. I think the test before that was more so with the reserves. The reserves was probably the bigger test because before you know what it's like. It was a serious bomb squad.
Yeah.
So like they would just be with the reserves and not even training with the first team.
Yeah.
So like, and they were obviously had their own issues going on, but they were horrible. Like,
It was
they didn't
previously.
want to be
Now it's seen as like a development group,
Yeah.
but then it was all of the players that the manager didn't want in his team. So very few people that played in the reserves were actually wanting to play the game.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Who was it? Do you remember anyone's in your bomb squad?
I don't remember. The only one that I remember from like, who was like really hard on me, but at the same time, I knew that whenever he said something that was really harsh, if I looked away, because I know knew he was fuming, but then like checked after, he would be smiling. It was Marcus Bent. Remember Marcus Bent? Yeah. Marcus Bent. He was a bit like that. But again, like when you're a young lad, you feel like they're doing it because they're just picking on you.
Yeah.
But then, like, fast forward, once you move into the dressing room with them and you've earned their respect and you played the game.
That's the key to it,
Yeah.
isn't it? It doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, players will respect you.
I think it was when I started to play a few games with the first team, and the same lads that were kicking lumps out of me in training were the same lads that were the first ones to almost protect me a little bit. So that was kind of like the clicking moment.
Yeah.
Where I thought, okay, like I've earned their respect. But then it might be a random Tuesday where it's like a heavy session. It's 11v11, and they might just think, just as a reminder.
Every now and again, you got a little dig just to keep you in line.
Yeah, you do that to me on the podcast. Yeah,
I do.
But this happened even when I left and I went to Norwich. So I left Norwich at 22. So probably from that gap from like 15, 16 all the way up to 22 was just like a constant test daily in training.
And you speak about those tests as well. Obviously, it's the 10-11 season, and you're getting you come on in the FA Cup and the League Cup.
Yeah.
What are those sort of? Is it just
the best?
Because how old are you here? 16, 17?
I think I was 16.
16, yeah.
So I think did I become the second youngest?
Second youngest at the time, the second youngest, which is a huge achievement.
But I remember being on the bench before in the previous season in the Prem, and I think it was Carzo's last game against Everton, and I was like close to coming on, but I didn't end up coming on. I think I would have been the youngest then, which like if I would have been the youngest, I'd have been like, it's a great record, but should it have been me? Do you know what I mean? Because of who held the record at the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
but obviously, once when you come through the academy, you learn the history of the club and everything like that. Things start to become a bit more personal and they mean a bit more. So it would have been great for myself.
Yeah.
But even just to be, I don't know if it's on 5th or 4th or whatever it is now, but like it's still, it's great to look at because you're on a list with a lot of great players.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was on the bench before that. I remember I did a lot of travelling with the first team, like in the Prem season leading up to that. I was on the bench against Spurs away when we got relegated as well. I wouldn't say I was happy.
I was going to say, because it's, opportunities.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was happy because I was like...
Were you ready to play then? Mentally ready
in
to
the Prem?
play? Yeah.
I think I was really naive that it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
I think it's one of those, where like, you've been there where you're in the moment. So if you come on, you come on. And it's great, but all the opposition I played against before was like Rochdale. It was Rochdale that year. So that year in the FA Cup was the same year we got relegated, I think. So it was Rochdale, I think, playing against... I don't know if it was Port Vale, it might have been Brentford.
So there's a big difference between playing in the Premier League to playing against that opposition, you mean?
Yeah, I think the only game I wasn't involved in was when we played Villa. It's when we won the League Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we won the League Cup.
So you weren't on the bench for the quarterfinals?
No.
You remember the pitch invasion, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think I was 19th man, so I was involved, but I wasn't.
You were chucking the fireworks, were you?
Involved. No. There was many moons ago that I've been
check the
12 I was in a Tilton.
But the pathway's there. You've been promised this. You've took your chance, and then obviously relegation happens, and Chris Hughton comes in.
Yeah.
Looking back, does he feel like the perfect manager at the perfect time for you?
Yeah. I think he took a lot of young players. We went to Ireland on pre-season, so he took a lot of us with him. And I just remember playing in one of the games where I thought I've really, really played well here, and I felt different. Like I felt like this is now becoming, not in terms of my performances, but I don't know, like when you feel a little bit sharper mentally and you feel a little bit more, you just, like, it's not necessarily your body because you're growing as you're in the gym more and you're getting faster, but just brain speed, I felt a lot faster and I felt like, okay, I think I'm ready to be one of the players that can say, I should be starting in the team. And again, it's that naivety at being 17. But I think I started the first couple of games in the championship that year, and it was more so I just wasn't thinking about it. I was just constantly thinking, I want to get better. I want to get better. But you would have seen if you pop down to Wast Hills over the years, way back, the chefs are waving to get the young lads in. You can't get the young lads off the pitch because they want to practice all the time. So I used to practice before and practice after. Do you remember Robin Shroot?
Yeah.
Robin Shroot,
Yeah.
madman. But he used to have me in the dome, and he was always on the peripheral of the squad, but never really a starter. But he used to have me in the dome doing like 500 touches before training. Like and me, him, and Mochi ended up having a little cohort at one point. But he'd be like, yeah, let's just slap the ball against the wall, like you know how that dome is. You can hear it from anywhere, can't you? Like he was like, yeah, come, we'll just do this, and then after we'll maybe do some free kicks or something. But he was one who like loved the game of football, and you could see it.
Yeah.
But then after, like, that was one of the best things, and it's one of the bigger things I look out for when I'm at a club is how many young players like doing extras. I just always look at it, because at Birmingham I could look and be like, right, I'm with the first team now, but I'm doing mine. And then on the far pitch, the 18s, and I'd look and like Dimmy might be over there. Over the 16s, Dimmy might be over there, and Reece Brown and players like that, they're doing their extras. And then I'd look down and on the other side, and you know, the boys that are on day release, they're doing their extras. So it's like, people used to say, oh, why like Birmingham produce like a lot of players, like why do they always get a chance? Because they're always practicing. Like it's non-stop.
Do you think sometimes though now sports science, because of
They
the
haven't got to
loads
finish.
on players,
You ain't even got to finish the sentence.
they're almost trying to say, get off the training pitch, stop practicing because of your loads.
Yeah.
Whereas you're just saying about how much that helped you achieve what you wanted to do and bettered you as a player.
Yeah, I think it was, again, it's that naivety of not knowing. So like when we spoke before about, when we spoke off camera about the way the game's going and how everything's changing. So through my career, sports science has grown and grown, and I've grown with it. Whereas before,
What was your sports science?
what was a recovery day like?
In fairness, because of I was lucky and played to 38, I seen it go from when I first made my debut, it was beers on a coach.
Yeah.
And I had to open all of the senior pros cans. They'd like whistle me down the bus. All of the young players had to go and open the lager, salt and pepper on the fish and chips. To actually when we got promoted with Birmingham, so early 2000s, sports science comes in. We still had Tuesday Club here.
Yeah.
But Tuesday Club probably disappeared 3 or 4 years after that. So the last 3 or 4 years of my career, there was no Tuesday Club. It was all about your loads. But then I was managed well by managers because I'd always have a Monday off.
Yeah.
They'd trust me to go to the Virgin Gym and do my plunge. So it's about trusting players to get the best out of themselves, which benefits the team.
Yeah. And that's what I think. It has to work hand in hand. So I've seen it now where it's just a little bit more controlled. So they wouldn't say you can't do extras, but if you've just done a 7K session on a Tuesday, no one is saying to young lads you can't practice at all. Whereas before, if you've just done a 7K, now if you do a 7K session, they're kind of like, right, you've done this amount of sprints, you've done this amount of high speed running. So I've always worked with a couple of guys that are like, right, I know I've done this, but I'm just going to do 10 each side. Yeah. And that's going to be it. So it's about managing the load and having that communication. Whereas I think when you're a young player, you've kind of got to earn that right to even have those conversations now. Yeah. And that's probably where there's a little bit of a disconnect, but football will catch up at some point, like everything will align.
Before you were speaking about giving that chance, and especially that season, the chance really starts in that Europa League campaign. Very typical Blues, a European qualification for the Championship. But I mean, that Nacional game still, I mean, I was watching back the highlights again this morning. Can you just talk me through back to that day? Because, I mean, it feels a bit of a blur just in terms of going to a Wednesday, Thursday night game to play a Europa League game for Blues. That was your full debut, wasn't it? Full start.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I still remember. Do you know what it was? The first one I remember was I started in the leg before, because we had 2 legs, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I was still in awe that we was just on, like, we was at Cristiano Ronaldo's hometown. I was thinking, this is great. I was still, again, naive, like not thinking, like, oh, this is great. I don't know if, did we draw 1-1?
Yeah. It was 1-1 or 0-0.
Yeah, I
think
think
it was
we drew.
1-1,
I
wasn't
don't know if there's any goals in it, but that's a blur, that game. So, for me, the only game that mattered was the one at St Andrews.
Yeah.
Because that year was a bit up and down. Obviously, we was in the Championship that year, but that was the first. How I see the stadium now,
Yeah.
when I've been to games and it's packed, is exactly
saw it then.
is how I used to see it then. But an evening game, so it was like this was what I was used to, because in the Prem the year before,
Yeah.
it was packed.
Yeah.
So it was like, my club is a big club. That's how I always saw it, because it's packed every single week. Whereas you used to go to a few grounds like in the Champ and stuff, and it's like half empty a little bit, and you're thinking, well, I think obviously now being obviously a little bit more well versed, before, again, that naivety that was there was, okay, I'm 17, I'm not really caring about what's going on because this is my club, but I don't understand that, there's a lot of clubs that have been in the Championship for a long time, and, the fans just aren't turning up. But Birmingham, we've just been relegated. We've got Europa League. We've done well in the FA Cup as well. We get to quarters. I think that's
That season was, I think we got to 5th round. It's when we had the
Yeah,
draw at Chelsea.
Chelsea over 2
and then-
legs.
Yeah, and then it was only one. And then, we went out to Chelsea here.
Yeah. So I was just like, obviously Birmingham have just been relegated, so the chances of us going straight back up are extremely high. So the fans are still obviously coming. If that doesn't happen, then obviously things start to peter off, don't they?
Yeah.
So I was just wrapped up in it, and it was just moments where I felt like I was at a big club and this is my club, and the Nacional game was like.
So when did you find out you were starting in that game for your first
At
start?
the stadium? Yeah, at the
Late,
stadium.
late.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
hadn't.
You know when they used to
given
do,
a heads
they used to do the clipboards then, so it weren't even on the screen where they
Yeah.
put it up on the screen. They're like, this is how it is.
flip chart in the
It used to be the
dressing room.
flip
I
chart.
thought that was just in like films like
Nah.
Tez or something. I didn't
That's-
realise it was real.
Yeah, Chris Hughton used to do the flip chart, bang, chuck it over. I was just there, and I was like, yeah. But that's why I was saying to you before, like, I felt ready, so I
Yeah.
didn't really feel like super phased, because
Some more excitement.
yeah, I was just excited. Like, it sounds a bit horrible, because I know what Blues fans can get like sometimes, but I always felt like I couldn't do any wrong when I
Yeah.
played, and I always felt that when lads who come through the academy in the system, you always just got that little
of
bit
our
of it.
own.
Yeah, you got that little bit of extra
Buys you a
leeway.
little bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always felt like I got that, and I think that, listen, there's been players that are probably just as skillful as me that have played for Birmingham and done stuff on the wings, but I always felt like the wingers that we had at the time, we had Jean Beaujejour, and there was Seb Larson was just leaving, but
Yeah.
that Prem season he was there.
Yeah.
Then there was obviously James McFadden. There was Gary O'Connor. I think there was obviously there was Ziggy up top, Oba. But the wingers, I just remember Jean Beaujejour and Seba and James McFadden used to play on the wing as well. So I felt like when I was coming through, I offered something different.
Yes.
And then, because I'm trying everything and anything to not just, put on a show, because that was never my thing, but just doing what I want to do. It was different to what was there at the time.
Yeah.
And then obviously we bought Chris Burke, who was just cutting in onto his left and his weaker foot and just whipping it in the top
Yeah.
bin. But that was never a surprise. The side story, that was never a surprise, because he used to practice that like with the young lads
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So when he scored 16, 17 goals and got 12 assists, it was no surprise. So
But even for you for that game, I mean, you talk about whipping one in.
yeah. But those sort of things I'd been doing anyway. So that's why I said, like, I just felt like I got faster in my brain speed, and even the goal, like where I'm in the pocket where I start running, then I stop, and then Murph ends up whipping it infield.
Yeah.
All that stuff was, before I was just standing out wide and just like saying, give me the ball and let me do my stuff. I started to think more, started to learn, like, can I be in these positions here? And this was even Chris Hughton, was playing 4-4-2. Who started up top? Was it Chris Wood and
Chris Wood, we had Marlon King
was it
here.
Adam Rooney?
Adam
They started
Rooney,
up front in
yeah.
that Nacional game, but I was kind of just like I said, in that pre-season, I just felt like I was thinking about the game more, and I felt like I was thinking faster, and it just went. And then when I end up getting the ball at my feet, it's then second nature, it's instinct, and yeah, still get goosebumps watching
This morning.
the clip if I see it. It's nice, always nice to see.
How do you reflect back on that Europa League campaign? Because we spoke to Curtis Davis, because he said that Chris at the time was very much sort of, he was very good at managing the squad.
Yeah.
Why are you smiling? You got a right story?
Because I remember when we beat Nacional at home. I remember when we come in the dressing room after, the gaffer was like, "What have you done?" He was like, "What have you done?" Because we already have 46 games in the champ, so now we've got this, and we've got FA Cup, and then League Cup.
Yeah.
I think we played 66 games that year.
Yeah,
something crazy like that. But I remember him coming in laughing. What have you done? I remember it to this day. It was yeah.
You've done him over.
Good times.
You've done him over with the European campaign. So what was it like for you for those games? Because as fans, obviously, there's we speak about Bruges quite a lot with Chris Wood popping up. But how was it for you in terms of a player?
Yeah, no, it was great. I think it was just I was always seeing European games and stuff from like the bigger clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From when I was a kid, to seeing like Arsenal, United, Liverpool, like all these teams that play in Europe, and thinking, oh, that'd be nice like one day. But then knowing that you get that qualification through the cup was like, oh, this is great. Then having to obviously do it over the 2 games, I don't know if people would have gave us a chance. I didn't know much about Nacional at the time, but just being naive, it's like, I wanna just play, and if we can get into Europe, it's great.
It's still a game of football at the end of the day, isn't it?
I got to go on a European tour without the beers, not lads, but with my boyhood club. So it's like, when I think I played Europa League twice. I played Europa League with Southampton as well in my first season, but the Birmingham one was always a bit more special, not only because I helped get us through that qualifying phase, but also because it was just like every game, whether it was Maribor or Bruges, or I think we played Braga, was it?
Yeah, Braga.
Beautiful
Bruges.
stadium.
Yeah.
So what's this? Like, the Bruges fans were there in numbers, and I was like, my club's a big club.
Yeah.
That's how I always felt. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no, it was an amazing experience, but also like a lot of the younger lads, a couple of them were a bit older than me, but they all run the tour as well.
Yeah.
So like every night before the game, you'd fly like the morning before, and then train on the pitch.
Yeah.
Before, and it was just like nice to be able to experience it.
Did that bring you close? Like, because obviously it was a really new bunch as well, wasn't it? 'Cause it was, the Premier League squad had disbanded. It was a new. Did you think that brought you together quite quickly?
A little bit. It was. I felt a little bit better in that year because I think I'd finally moved into the dressing room. I was kind of like on the cusp, but I was allowed to always go into the dressing room. But obviously there was still the rules about ages and stuff like that. So I was always allowed to go in the dressing room. But I couldn't obviously get changed and stuff in there because obviously the rules with the ages and stuff like that. So when I was around the first year, like 15, 16, I was still with the scholars in the dressing room. But then that was my first year being in there. So I was like 17, just turning 18. And that was my first.
I always find that strange because it's you're good enough and old enough to play in the first team, but from a welfare issue, you've got to get changed with your own age group, and it's odd, isn't it? It's not like you have a separate changing room on a match day.
No. So in the match day it's completely different.
But it's a big thing actually moving from scholars' dressing room to the first team dressing room, isn't it?
Yeah, because then like the conversations get a little bit more personal, so to speak. Like, who do you live with? Like, what do you do? Like, who's close to you? They're like a lot of the players that you never really spoke to before, you start asking them questions. They start asking you, start learning things about people. You start learning who's the prankster, who's a bit of an idiot on the pitch, who's a bit of an idiot off it, who's like someone who's just moody on the pitch and moody off the pitch. Like, you get to learn all these different characters, and it kind of helps you with your rapport with them as well. And that's another stepping stone. So I think the tours and stuff helped us, but I think just the amount of games we had, and I think Chris was brilliant. Just we barely trained.
We played so many
because
games.
you got
we had so many
you
games.
can't, can you?
So he was just really good at man management, and I think he just knew that, with the squad that we had, he knew that he had to use everyone. So but you had good characters, like Wade Elliott came in, like Jonathan Spector was here as well, and they were like good characters, and they knew that they could take the disappointment of probably not playing every single game because it's going to be impossible to. But also they knew that they were going to turn up for them and did give an 8 out of 10 every week as well. So I think you had a good mix. And then you had like your renegades like Marlon King, where you knew he was going to score goals, but you knew bit of a hothead as well at the same time. And you got Stevie Caldwell at the back, who I thought he was brilliant in the dressing room. Absolutely loved him. But on the pitch, he was a really big leader. And Curtis Davis was next to him as well, who was also a leader. But them two were like yin and yang a little bit, because Stevie was very serious, a bit of a joker, but very serious. When Kurt was a big joker, but also like when it comes to a game day, they were both like, right, I'm on it. And then they brought Robbo in as well. So it's like got rid of one with Stevie Carr nailing me, and now Robbo's come in, now he's nailing me. So this is what I'm saying when I said, like, I thought I'd done it by getting to December, and people used to say, until you play 50 games with the first team, you can't say anything. I'm like 25, 30 here, like I'll be there soon. Robbo's still Thursday, just clean you out.
Sending the message.
Just to let you know. So
one man you were telling us that you were sat next to in your time in the dressing room was the man, the myth, and the legend, big Nikola Zigic. Yeah. Now, we've done a few of these podcasts, haven't we? I feel like everybody's got a Nikola Zigic story. You were telling us off camera one, but what was he like as a youth player going in?
He was great, man.
Good.
He was great.
Tell us about the match.
Yeah, it was great. I was saying I was late for a match day, so I'm running into the stadium. Like, I don't know if it was raining, but I was sweating by the time I got there. And I think obviously the McDonald's is at the bottom, like somewhere on that road was just jammed. So I had to get out and run through the back of the away where the bus is parked, and get in because I was really late. Got into the dressing room, and then all the lads are there, like just looking at me. A few of them like half giggling and stuff, but like all the serious guys, like I think, it's all this, like Robbo was like had a face on him for sure, and there was a couple others as well. Stevie Caldwell probably had a face on him. A few of them like, oh, you can't be late. Chris Hughton's obviously there, like it's half fuming, and then I don't know if the dressing room's still the same, the home dressing room, not see, but they've got the one sort of pillar in the middle, and there used to be 2 seats round the back of it. Do you know?
Yeah.
You know when you walk in the door and there's like you've been in first dressing room.
Not
your gone.
Yeah.
It's changed now, but I know.
Yeah, you remember that pillar? There used to be 2 seats around
Yeah.
there, and Ziggy used to sit on one of them. I don't know why. He could have sat anywhere. Like he's
a character.
He was a big cheese. He was big cheese in the dressing room. Like great character, but he used to sit there. So my seat was there next to him. So I remember just sitting down, and I was like, trying to catch my breath. Can't believe I'm late. Like the meeting's obviously been held up without me and stuff like that. And he's just there, like getting changed a little bit. And he's like, my friend, it's like, if you're late, you're late. You're still alive. Don't worry, like it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, Zig, I know, but like I'm a young lad, I can't be late. He's like, don't worry, kid. So he always used to click and wink all the time, like it's okay, don't worry. I was like, because he'd been here for quite a while, he started to like almost become a little bit more English.
Yeah.
So he just start saying terms like, "You'd be all right, mate." Like terms like that. They're like, but like he was one who, like, even if I performed badly or he saw like I was a bit down, that he'd just be like, "Hey, tomorrow is a new day."
Yeah.
Cheers, Zig. Just my boy or club, like just fuming. Like if I don't make it, you know what I mean? You're all right. You're on flipping 85 grand a week. You're all right.
Easy,
I'm just trying to get there. Like
Robbo's impression of easy money
yeah.
still cracks me up.
Yeah, mate, but like it was like there were so many good characters there that shouldn't have been like together, but it worked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Ziggy was there when Kev Phillips was here as well, wasn't it? I think it was the same squad.
Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah. So I played in a few games with
yeah.
Kev Phillips.
Yeah.
Kev was great. Like small-sided games, he didn't even look at the goal. He knew where it was, but when he scored, he'd be like, "Goal, don't move, fellas. Goal, don't move." He'd just be.
He used to say that when he was a kid at Watford as well, before he'd gone super
lads.
famous.
And I'd be like, "This guy's a joke. Like you can't give him half a yard." But then like the ball be up in the air and Ziggy's up lanky, chest it, just overhead kick it, might go in, might not, and you just start giggling. You start laughing. Or like if you've done something really good, you'd start laughing. But then if you've done something where it didn't come off, you'd start laughing.
Yeah.
Like nothing really affected him.
He'd have drove me mad. I'm not
And
going to lie.
yeah,
He'd have drove
but like
me
the
mad.
lads loved him though. At the same time, like, you've heard stories
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
lads.
yeah, yeah.
The lads loved him, but you couldn't really be angry at him. But I always thought like when he's on it, he was a handful.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It was Leeds United, wasn't it? 4 goals away at Ellen Road.
yeah, doing knee slide, he couldn't go anywhere. Watch the celebration. I think he did a knee slide and just stayed in the same place. The grass was wet as well. But no, mate, he was brilliant. And listen, you have to be. He played in a Valencia side with David Silva, David Villa.
Yeah.
I think Joaquin was there, the winger as well
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time. Like he played in a decent side, so he weren't a scrub. But I think he adapted well, and I think it helps when you're like if you've got a bit, but also like you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
It does help.
Yeah, that's class.
Goes a long way. So
So
yeah, man.
that season ends, sadly. St Andrews is absolutely packed. We were saying the other day, one of the loudest at the Blackpool game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How, for you, you were close to getting in the first team when we were in and around the Prem. You've had this full season. Were you like this? I mean, this could be the dream. I've got the games under my belt.
Yeah.
Going up with Blues. Was
It's
that
the
the
one-
focus?
It's one of them ones where like I try not to look back on regrets, but like it's one that the 2 playoff games against Blackpool was one of the 2 games where I look back and I go, there's a big opportunity missed there. Not just personally, but for the club as well. I think especially knowing, because obviously previously at Burnley, I've experienced it with going down and then coming straight back up.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling, but also it's really difficult to do. I think if we didn't have, don't want to take away one of the biggest, proudest moments, but if we didn't have Europe, I think we do that. Because I remember us having like 4, 5, 6 games in hand and us sitting in 10th at one point. Might have to fact check that. I'm not too sure, but I remember we had a lot of games in hand, and I think if we didn't have Europe, I think we do it comfortably. Because Southampton went up that year. I think they might have went up automatically.
Yeah, and then West Ham in the playoffs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we lost against them early on in the season, but at home, I think we drew. I think it was like a snowy day towards like New Year's.
Thing is, it's not just the extra games that takes the toll, is it? It's the travelling
Yeah,
and the extra recovery day.
yeah,
That's less tactical days.
yeah. But that's why I say like we didn't train much because we couldn't. But we were playing on random days as well. Like we were playing like Thursday night, not in like Europe. Once Europe had finished, we were playing like Thursday night and then Monday night and then Friday night, and like the schedules were all over the place. So lads that played couldn't recover quick enough, and lads that didn't play couldn't train too hard to then be ready
Yeah.
because you've got to be used for the games. So I always thought once we got to that playoffs, the first game when we played them away, it was a blur. I just don't remember it. Don't remember a lot of the games in that season. But just felt like you're just plugging away.
Yeah.
But maybe that's me being 17, stroke 18, and not fully understanding.
I think when the
What's required.
schedule's that thick, even the senior pros are thinking,
Yeah.
where is it next?
Yeah, but again, that's why I say like now, if I was looking at it and we're going into a championship season, let's say, I think I'm more versed and more in tune. Whereas like I'm 17, going on 18, it's my debut season. I'm excited to be playing, learning, but also like, don't want to say I'm just happy to be here, but like I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, if we get promoted or if we don't get promoted, I'm still wanting to just play for the club. Like I'm still living a dream. So I'm not thinking about, if we don't get promoted, I won't get an extra whatever grand a week, or I won't get a new contract. I'm just thinking I just want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. That's why when I look back, I think like if I could say to 17-year-old me, oi, this is serious, like focus, like you need to understand what it means, I would. But it doesn't take away the fact that I didn't know. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was still like I was playing for my club. I was proud to represent my club.
That season, I imagine, with the player of your age and what you did that season,
Yeah.
there must have been interest to leave after that season. Were you close to going
I nearly
anywhere?
left before I made my debut.
Did you?
Yeah, I nearly left before I
Where
made my
to?
debut. There was Arsenal, City, Liverpool, was everyone.
So-
when I was a kid, when I was like 15, 16, when I was playing for the 18s regularly, like playing for the 16s and playing for the 18s. Sometimes, so Terry used to have me play for the 16s for one half and then come over to the 18s and play another half for them. So I used to do that everywhere.
Wow.
Go West Ham, Norwich, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, West Brom, everywhere. I'd play 16s one half. And this is when I'm in and out. So whilst I'm playing these cup games
Yeah.
in my first season, this is in between all those games.
But you're also in the England setup as well,
Yeah.
aren't you, at that point?
Yeah.
So do you think that sometimes influences other clubs?
Yeah, I think obviously my age was like Sterling, Nathaniel Chalobah, Pickford came in a little bit long after that. Stones, like Eric Dyer, all these guys were my age group. But I think when you're there with England, your mind can be swayed a little bit. So when Raheem came, he was his first camp. He was at QPR, and then by the time he'd come to the second camp, so October, he was at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then there was a boy called Alex Henschel who was is it Swindon? I think it was young lad at Swindon, left-footed. One camp he was there at Swindon, the next camp he was at City.
Right.
So like you're seeing like a lot of players.
Seal of
Yeah.
approval almost.
But I suppose
Yeah.
Birmingham in the Premier League, understandable.
Yeah,
Once relegation happens in the Championship, you got one of the most talented young players.
but then I'm playing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I'm like, what am I moving for? But beforehand,
But was like you'd sorry to jump in,
Yeah.
because you'd seen, like, I think you mentioned off camera that you'd said like you're playing 40, 50 games that season, and then you probably go to one of those camps and you see even at under 21s
Yes,
that
that's not
they're not playing.
his lad's not playing. So like, there was lads playing here and there. There's a few lads playing at like Derby, like George Ford and stuff were playing. He was
Yeah.
in the year above. Will Hughes, a couple of years below me, he was like playing at Derby, and like Nathaniel Chalobah had been on loan at Watford in that Championship season. There's a few that were getting about, but the England squad at that time was like 25 players.
Yeah.
So not everyone's playing. A lot of the lads like Nick Powell, who was at Crewe, he was playing every week. Max Clayton was at Crewe as well. He was playing every week. So there was players like in the EFL that were playing.
Yeah.
But no one really at the big academies like the Arsenal, City, United, like no one was playing first team. And that's where it was like, what's
What a
the point?
mature decision to make, though. I mean, you both played. Like, I imagine if you've got the biggest clubs in the world coming
it was
up for you.
it was just they were just circling. Like I remember Terry Wesley saying one game we were like 2-0 down to someone at home, the under 18s, and we were I remember Mitch Hancock's threw up on the side of the pitch. It was hot. It was like the early games in like September. Mitch threw up on the side of the pitch. I remember this day clearly. Omar Berg was sitting there. He's sweating. Got good like Kwasi Asante, sorry as well.
Yeah.
He was there. He was in the youth team. So it was a hot day and we were getting pumped by someone. We were 2-0 down. But I was playing really well. But this was in between those cup fixtures.
Yeah.
So Terry's like almost making an example. He's like, look, he's playing well. You got to keep giving the ball to him, X, Y, and Z. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why so and so from Arsenal's over here. There's a reason why so and so from United's over here. Because of him. But you're sharing the same pitch. So why can't you be recognised by them? Like this was Terry's thing. He always had this knack of like just dropping carrots and walking away. Like just letting you know that like people are watching or the opportunity's there. And I was always aware of it, but I was kind of like Terry was always like, you play well, you get there. And he never lied, because I played like a cup game, then I'd come back down to the 18s and play for the 18s. But then on the Monday or the Tuesday, whoever didn't play in the first team played in the resis, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that's how it was. It wasn't 21s. So whoever didn't play, so you had 6 or 7 lads who were on the bench who didn't play in the first team. They played resis. Now I've got to play resis on a Tuesday, but everyone's watching. So first team manager, first team staff, scouts, the 16s and 18s who finished training, they're watching, and you're playing against other first team players that are not playing in the seniors. So I'm having to play that game. I'm not playing in the Premier League game, so then I'm playing for the 16s for a half. So then, as all this is going on, lads are like, that's he played for the first team. Blah, blah, blah. So there's that
So
challenge.
it's a full development pathway, really,
Yeah.
that Terry's
Yeah.
trying to set out. And between Terry and Chris,
Yeah.
it looks to me like they managed it quite well.
Yeah, no, he was. So then, again, when I'm jumping through all these different age groups, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm good enough. And then it's those that's where a lot of players will always say it's important that you have people behind you.
Yeah.
It's important you have people behind you that are not keeping you humble, but just like making sure you're focused on the task at hand, which is just play your football, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to think about anything else. You're on the right trajectory. So obviously over the course of the time, it worked out for me development wise. But then I think like with Dimmy coming through and Jack as well come through at the same time, and all these other players that have come through, Amari Bell, Wes Harding, Reece Brown, Jude, Job, they've all, Odin Bailey, like they've all probably gone through a similar process. But obviously, as in the most recent crop, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But they've all gone through the same similar process. So it's important, the development, but how players take to it will then obviously determine how far you get, I think.
In terms of when you were leaving, obviously you had a season under Lee Clark. I think we finished around mid-table.
Yeah.
Good. Do you like playing under Lee?
Lee was all right, man. Yeah, he was all right. He was just...
He was changing at the club as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was completely different. He did things different. And Chris was more super, I'm not going to say limited tactically, but very basic tactically. Got the jobs done. But
Functional.
but
Functional
as a
coach.
man manager, he was fantastic. He'd make centre halves that are twice his size feel like this, and not in a disrespectful way. More so like you're getting told off by your nan or your granddad. Do you know what I mean? Like those ones where you're like, even though you're miles bigger than your nan,
not angry or
when she
disappointed.
tells you something,
Yeah.
you're gonna listen. It was one of those, and everyone had the utmost respect for him. Whereas with Lee, no one didn't not have respect for him, but he just did things super different, and things were a bit like off the cuff.
Yeah.
And I think that year I experienced like I feel like a senior player now. Robbo's still kicking lumps out of me at this point still.
Standard.
Yeah, but I feel like a first team player now, but I feel like what's next, because we've missed out on promotion. So like, are we going to go for it again? And then obviously as the season's going on, it's kind of like, looks like we're just going to finish bang in the middle of the table. So,
And the ownership, there's no real stability financially, is there?
Yeah.
So how did the move come about?
I don't know, I just know I got sold for a bag of chips, didn't I, really? It's like 2.5 million or something like that. Yeah, like Jack was the same, 3 million. Imagine that in today's market.
Did we have a percentage on you for after Norwich?
It was $1 million.
Yeah.
That was it. But I think that was, it was $1 million. Yeah.
So when Jack went to Stoke, and then it was obviously he had terrible injuries, didn't he? But there was rumours when he was going to go to Liverpool, and
I think it was $1 million. So when I went to Southampton, I think it was 10 plus 1. It was 11, but it was 10 plus 1. Something like that. I think how they structured it. But no, I spoke to a few clubs. So I spoke to, at that time, Norwich, Swansea, Stoke. So I spoke to Mark Hughes. I think it was Martinez who was at Swansea at the time, I think.
And they were all Premier League.
Yeah. So, but the main conversations I'd had was with Mark Hughes and obviously Norwich as well. But Chris was already there, so I kind of already knew Chris at the time. I knew.
And was that influential for you? I know it's, isn't it? Contracts are always important, but also you've already played for Chris.
Yeah.
You like the way he works. Is that part of the reason why you chose Norwich?
Yeah, I think I just, on a personal level, off the pitch, he helped me a lot. I think he understood, growing up in Highgate and then moving over to Kitts Green, Lee Village, Glebe, and then making it into the first team. I think he understood my dynamic, and obviously with my home life as well. I think he understood it and kind of wanted to maybe just make sure in this crucial point where I was at Birmingham, going into the late teens, early 20s, that I probably could do with being so far away from it. So he happened to be at Norwich, and it was a bit different to Birmingham. Birmingham being Norwich is not multicultural, but Birmingham being a super multicultural city, and it feeling like home. My mom's down the road, and family members, friends, and everything. And then going 188 miles over to Norwich, door to door, from like my mom's house to my place.
That's a big thing, isn't it?
Massive.
Moving away from your family for the first time. I always think the younger you do it, the better it is.
Yeah.
Because you just accept it then.
Yeah.
But when you do it a little bit later, that's tough.
Yeah,
particularly the contrast between Birmingham and Norwich as
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah, I mean, the first year I was when we was in the Prem at Norwich, I came back quite a lot. But then when we got relegated, we was in the Champ. I stayed, like, because we had Tuesday night games
Yeah.
and stuff. But like, I grew to appreciate Norwich and Norfolk and the city and the area and the surrounding areas and all the beaches and stuff that were there. Like, it proper just stopped me doing anything other than football. And I always say, like, I remember when I went to Southampton, Harrison Reed had an option to go to Norwich on loan. I was like, hey, go. I'm not gonna say there's nothing there. It's quiet life, and it's really, really nice. People are great. I was like, but if you're looking for a super nightclub, there ain't one. Whereas, like, after a game, if we'd won, I'm going Gatecrasher, and I thought that was a super nightclub.
Well, I mean, it was back in the
Was
day.
back in the day. Yeah.
Wow.
It was
Did
back.
you sample Gate?
No.
You a bit too old for it.
No, yeah, I was
that
living
was-
room on Broad
We should
Street.
do a podcast on Gate.
Innit? But that was like a.
Yeah.
I thought it was an.
Yeah, you didn't get one of them in Norwich, are you?
Nah, but there was a few bars and stuff, and like, but you couldn't really get up to much. So
So it was easier to focus on your football.
I think it was, yeah, and still like 18, 19, the first time leaving home,
Yeah.
doing what everyone does, FaceTime my mom. How do I cook this? Like, what cycle do I put this on? Like, you're just learning constantly, aren't you? And you're trying to do it without. I never had the experience of living in digs, so I always lived at home.
Yeah.
So my mom kind of did everything for me. Did she take me to training every day? No, I was still getting up at 6 a.m. to get the bus from Stetchford into Birmingham, and then Birmingham over to Kings Norton. That I was still doing that every day as a scholar until I could drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't getting the benefits of living in digs where there's a minibus to come and pick you up. Like, there was still something where my mom was kind of like, it's not going to be too easy. If you wake up late and miss training, you wake up late and miss training.
Yeah,
They're going to
yeah.
phone me. I'll tell them, I don't know.
Mm.
He's in bed. It's your responsibility. So
Yeah.
there was little drips and spells of trying to mature and grow up, but Norwich moving there definitely matured me, just as a person, as a player.
Obviously, you did, and you've had a
Yeah.
wonderful career, and part of that was your international one. So you're in and around England
Yeah,
squad, you
yeah.
played for England.
Yeah.
But also internationally, could there have been other options as well? We've read about
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
Ireland and Jamaica.
Ireland and Jamaica, yeah. But I think by the time I got to Norwich, I'd done. When I left Birmingham, I got. We were supposed to do 19s World Cup, I think it was, and I went to the pre-camp, so we did like a week beforehand, and then you have like a week off. So I was supposed to go on holiday with my family. The day before I was going away, I got a call from Stuart Pearce saying, "Oh, you come to the 21s finals
Wow.
in Israel." I was like, I didn't know whether to be happy or fuming. So I was about to go to Spain with the family. Like, been a long season. But yeah, I was like, I didn't get called up in the initial squad, but I don't know who dropped out. But this is like Jordan Henderson, John Joe Shelby, Sterling hadn't gone. He was now with the seniors. Tom Ince, Zaha. Who else there? Stephen Corker.
It's a good bunch.
Yeah, good bunch.
All playing though as well. Going back to what
Yeah.
you said earlier on, they're all
Yeah.
playing in
So,
their
but
team.
these
aren't
guys are 3 years older.
Was that an awkward one? Because going back to you saying about playing games,
Mhm.
the 19 squad, if you go with the 19s, you're going to play and start every game.
Yeah,
21s, you might not.
yeah.
Was there any sort of tension with that?
I think what helped was I don't know if it was 20. It might have been 20s World Cup squad. I think that was.
Right.
But the year before, I'd played up with the 19s. So this was like George Thorne, Saido Berahino, Benica Phobe, Ross Barkley. This is like that age group, Conor Cody and stuff like that. That's that age group. So I'd gone with Noel Blake with the year above, and I played, but not that much. And then the following year was supposed to be the 20s World Cup, which was again the year above. So I was kind of like, I felt good, but you know, when you've been around the younger England camps, you're kind of like, oh, he's top and he's good and he's good. But all I know is I'm
Well,
playing.
we don't know that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, but you know, like when you've been training, like sometimes you know how good people are, like when
Yeah.
you're training and playing, you know how good your teammates are, but you never really think anything much different because you're there as well.
Yeah.
So I always, sometimes I had like half imposter syndrome because I thought, like a lot of these guys are top draw. But then I'd have to be like, no, there's a reason why I'm here. And there's a reason why I'm playing first team at my club. So I'm obviously doing something right. But then when I got to 21s, I was like, I'm not expecting to play at all. And then I started the first game, I think, against Italy. I think I played number 10. I was chasing Verratti around. Scary. I think Verratti was playing. Insigne was playing as well. I think he scored the winner. I think it might have been 1-0 or 2-1. They beat us. But like, I remember pulling up to a stadium watching the first game. I think it was Spain. Spain played someone. It was like Isco, players like that. And I was like,
It's some generation that, isn't it?
I
And
was
you're
like,
dropping
this is
names there.
frightening. And so I'd been exposed to it. So
Yeah.
to come back to it, by the time I'd got to Norwich, I was with the 21s again. But I think it was still 1 year. It was still 1 year that wasn't my age. So I played 21s finals. Then I had another one. So I had 3 finals in the end with 21. So I did 3
Wow.
courses. So yeah, like as to come back to like the island and Jamaica as well, it was kind of like, well, I've been through the England system since I was 14, 15. I just don't know if it sits right.
Yeah.
And like when I was at Norwich, Wes Hoolahan and Robbie Brady, they
Yeah.
used to come in, just pin like passport forms on my locker. Like every other international break, be like, get them signed, take them home.
That's great.
With and then like I'd be understand about that, but then like they'd start bringing in flags,
Yeah.
just like putting it in my locker. And but I don't know, like I felt like if I'd have been with those age groups all the way through, it would probably be an easier decision.
Yeah.
But because I'd been with England all the way through, I was kind of like, well, I'm going to go for it. And if I do, I do. And if I don't, I don't. And maybe further down the line in my career, I can look back and be like, well, maybe I can switch if I want a bigger international career or maybe just to play some games and experience it.
Yeah.
Do you think, because Michael Ricketts came out and said that
Yeah.
you were going to play for Jamaica, didn't he? Do you
Yeah.
think that caused an issue for you? Or
No.
I mean, I played with Rico,
Yeah.
so I know he can cause trouble in an empty
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So it doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me. But
No, I think it's, again, like, we were talking about sports science and how you grow with it. It's like the social media and the media and stuff as well. Like, you just started to learn to take things with a pinch of salt. So, like, I always treated it like getting a move to a different club. I would never take it serious until there's an offer on paper. Never, ever. So, and I've always kept that to this day. I would always be like, well, all right, it's nice that they're interested, but until they show me 3, 4, whatever it is years and whatever it is salary, I can't really take it. I can just
Yeah.
take it as chit chat. And that was kind of the same with that. But yeah, I've got 1 cap. It's more than a lot, and it means the world to me. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about my little boy now who loves football, like him showing him like players and stuff like that. He's like, he's talking to his friends at school. He's like, we were talking about this player today. I said, oh, yeah, who's that? Well, my boy is best friends with Victor Lindelof's little boy. So they're like they're like
Yeah.
they're like that.
Yeah.
So they love football. We're always playing it together and stuff. And they were talking about players. That, boy come on and said, can we put Marcus Rashford on TV? I said, yeah, all right. He's like, you have played against Rashford? So a couple of times. So I played with him a few times and that as well. So I've shown pictures and that and whatever and different stuff. And then he's starting to like be like, oh, you're actually all right. you're not that bad. But like it's just like little things like that just remind you like, oh, like
Hey, done all right.
done all right.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like can't all be Jude.
no, exactly. But on that subject, you just remind me of something you said earlier on. Tell us about when I asked you who you supported as a kid.
Yeah.
Tell us about your uncle.
Oh, my uncle, yeah, he's non-league bandit. He was non-league bandit. Honestly, I think he definitely shaped my mind into like where and how I saw football. So this is where I talk about like when I said about Birmingham, like I thought it's a massive club. It still is to me, and I think the outside perspective, I think it is a big club. But for someone who used to like just go with their mates and buy a ticket on the day of a game and sit in the Tilton or sit in the Cop and like just be like one day like, or be a ball boy for when you was academy, like be a ball boy and like you got the drinks and after sprinting to try and give it to your favourite player. I remember sprinting trying to give one to a player all the lads had given them, so I was last. I give it to Sean Wright Phillips, so when he was at City. Right. Weren't supposed to give him to opposition players, but I just give it him. But anyway, I think where was I? Sorry.
Your uncle.
Yeah, so he was at he used to play for Nuneaton Borough and Atherstone Town as well. So like I'd go and watch him. Like I'd either go with like my nan who'd go and watch him, or my mum would drop me there, and then my uncle would bring me back, or go with his girlfriend, like just get a burger and just stand, just watch. Like there's no seats at Nuneaton Borough or Atherstone. I don't know if there is now, but there weren't no seats. But I think it was at Atherstone where they used to have this pitch behind the goal. So on the actual pitch, they used to have like a mini training pitch where like all the kids would just play. So I would just be playing up there, and then like the game would start, and we'd all just sit on the top of the hill and just be watching the game. My uncle just his name was Roy Dunkley. If anyone gets some clips, like he was top drawer.
I mean, he sounds like a non-league, like an
Yeah,
absolute
he's just
bandit.
little non-league bandit.
Goal scorer though.
Yeah, absolute goal scorer. And I just thought, I want to do this. I don't know if subconsciously I learned things whilst watching these games or pick things up, but like, so I want to do this. And
What about when you got in the car after a
you get in
game?
the car and you count his salary, count his wages. That's how you know.
That's
There's
when
no-
you really
but I
thought,
thought, yeah, but I'm like 7, 8,
Yeah.
9. I'm like, this is top draw.
This is proper
Yeah.
football.
What do you mean? Just
And-
scored a couple of goals, walk out with some cash. But you know what a pound meant back in the day when you go to the shop and you're a millionaire on the street, coming penny
Coca-Cola
sweets,
bottles, yeah.
penny sweets and all that. So like, you looking at 10, 20 pound notes, you're like, what's that?
Big cheese.
Yeah, I thought he was big cheese, but then
But
he's
that contrast
yeah.
from you looking at him and going like, almost like hero worship
Yeah.
because he's getting cash in the back of the
Mm.
car, to you then becoming an England international.
It's mad. It's mad, but also he probably had a development because when I used to spend time at my nan's house as well, like he would always be on Champman or Football Manager, so he would like loading up players and be like, "Oh, this guy is sick," but I'm like, this is his little dots.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love Football Manager, like for the last
You still play it?
all the time,
So
all the
got a
time.
good save going on at the moment.
I'm in a dark place.
Right.
Like I've got they can plug this if they want as well.
Yeah.
East Kilbride.
Oh
Ever
wow.
heard of it?
They got a lot of financial problems.
I'm in the SPL. It's done. I'm in the SPL, but they were in like bottom barrel.
So
No training ground. Got like 20 quid transfer budget. This is
You know,
I
it's not
mean-
real, boys, don't
yeah,
you?
it's not
It's
real,
not
but
real.
I'm in.
Real to me.
But I'm in the year 2048, something like that, 2050 or something. Yeah,
You need to send a message out to him.
I do. But before, like I climbed took Hereford from bottom bin all the way.
Oh, so you're one of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I love a road to glory.
I'm always a blues man.
Oh dear.
But yeah, I've been banned from the recruitment room. That just like, Dukey, I've got someone for you. Please leave. But he's not having it, is he, Tom?
That's fact.
And that's
Well,
yeah. I think we need to do a part 2 because we've had you in here for so long.
Mate,
but just
good
before you
talk,
go,
though.
just wanted to chat. Just a couple of quick fire ones.
Yeah, go on.
Favorite teammate while you were at Blues?
Should we split that into 2?
Yeah.
Favorite teammate who just had me in stitches all the time as a young lad when I was in the squad. Nah, actually. Yeah, no, we'll do 2. I'll say the first one would have been Jack, because not because he had me in stitches every day, but just because he's still a great friend of mine now
Yeah.
today.
So you're tight.
Yeah, so really close, like wives, kids, everything. Like, and I think second one probably. I think I'll say they're both kind of the same player, but it's either Seb Larson or Chris Burke.
No.
Only because I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Seba was really professional, and I always thought Alex McLeish was kind of like he's the model standard for work rate as
Mhm.
well. He used to really work his socks off like every single game. And when I was coming into the squad, I was kind of like a silky winger, and I wanted to do whatever I wanted to, but it was tracking back as well. That's what you needed to do to get into Alex McLeish team.
Yeah.
Then the year after was Chris Burke, and Chris Burke was kind of he showed me that if you can work at something, you can do it. So when I was talking to you off air about his left foot,
Yeah.
how he just used to take 10 balls on his own and just touch it on the inside of his right foot and just whip it left foot in the top bin. And I thought, he's not left footed. What's he doing? And then he started doing it in games,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is okay.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
not a coincidence. But I was always practicing just to get better anyway.
Mm.
But he was doing it for game-like scenarios, so it kind of just taught me. And he was always like an arm around the shoulder. He was never threatened by me coming in his position and being like, I don't want nothing to do with him. He was always arm around the shoulder, and like when I hit with a left foot, like I tried to remember the feeling. There was loads of little things. So
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say,
Him.
yeah, those.
Best manager you played under doesn't have to be
At
at Blues.
Birmingham,
No,
doesn't have to be at
it doesn't
Blues.
have to be across your whole career.
Again, I would say for a person, for like man management, Chris Hughton. Chris Hughton and Chris Hughton as man management, I think he was top. Scott Parker wasn't too bad as well
Mm.
up at Burnley, but wasn't with him for that long. But Chris was great. But in terms of, but I think who got the best out of me was probably Ralph Hasenhüttl, but we clashed a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we clashed a lot. But we kind of knew it, and we knew we needed each other in that sense. Like we'd clash a lot on the training pitch. But then he'd pull me in the office and be like, "Oh, we need that. We
Yeah.
really needed that." And then then Red Bull, Gegenpress, thinks of 100 million miles an hour. He'd be like, "Yeah, now that's out the way. I'm thinking of doing this." And he would just be like, "I can't switch off that quick emotionally. Like you've just put me off on the training pitch. Like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what
But he's
what
like,
we do."
that was class.
Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, that's top drawer right now. Now that we've got your attention, like
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna do at the weekend. I'm thinking about this." And I always knew the importance of hard work in like a 4-4-2 and tracking back. But I think working under him and Danny Rao was his assistant, who's at Rangers.
Yeah.
Working under them really got me to understand the importance of like a tactical press. So we played 4-2-2, and I was always one of the two number 10s or two strikers. So
Yeah.
just the tactical press and not worrying about what's behind me. So I could almost press like a wild animal, just knowing I've got to sprint here and sprint back and
Yeah.
sprint here and sprint back. And it was so. Yeah, I think from personal perspective, Chris, but from like almost a game examples and training sessions, I would say Ralph Hasenhüttl.
Best game you ever played in. It doesn't necessarily have to be like your best performance, but like one that you go to bed off. Maybe
It's either the Nacional one or it's the champ playoff final for Norwich where I scored. That one's
Didn't you score like loads really early on?
scored 2 early on. Yeah, we won 2-1.
Big Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, with Cammy. Yeah, I was working with Cammy yesterday. Did a session with Cammy yesterday.
Oh, forget him on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing some personal
great.
one-to-one stuff. But yeah, I'd say one of those 2 games.
Last two. What did
Go on.
Pep say to you?
Oh, bloody hell. This again. Shit, do you know what's mad? You know, how many people,
It's on the iPad, so I have to.
you know people ask me this even in the street.
Yeah.
And
Really?
I'm like,
It's
mate,
weird how the internet works, isn't it? Because I'd rather watch your best goals, but
Yeah.
then, do you know what I mean? But then that clip will just always come up.
Yeah. No, the year before we played a diamond system with Southampton, Claude Puel, and I scored at the Etihad, and I played really well. So I guess he just saw me as maybe a threat for them. Year after Claude's gone to Leicester, we've now got Maurizio Pellegrino, who was a centre half. I think he was at Liverpool before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Negative football, 4-5-1, lock up the shot.
Yeah, love it.
That's it. So from minute 1, ball's gone out for a throw, and he's telling Ryan Bertrand like, slow down. 30 seconds have been played. Like so they're already fuming. But that game, Raz stopped one in the top bin in the last minute outside the box, which he rarely did before anyway. But he stopped one in the top bin. Heads are gone. We nearly just come out with a point at the Etihad by playing terrorist football, like just absolute anti-football, not having it. And yeah, regardless if you're not playing a great system or not, if you come out from the Etihad with a point, you're doing all right. And yeah, you just stormed on the pitch, just come up to me and just said, "What was that?" basically. And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Last year, like you played really well in both fixtures. You've been playing well. You played well, like a lot last season. Some of the clips that I've shown, like the team and stuff, like how we stopped the left-hand side and how it's dangerous, and like this is what you play." And I was like, "Look, no disrespect, but I'm just doing what my manager's asked. Like it's just he was like, you just like forget him." He's like, you basically say, "I'm the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
Like if I'm telling you you're a good player, please
Yeah.
believe me. But how like he's so wrapped up in the emotion, and they've just scored in the literally last minute of the game. He's just rambling.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, look, I hear what you're saying, but again, like I'm doing what my manager's asked. So in the end, he's keep going, and you'll probably see me on a video. I just start looking down because I'm like, but obviously from playing with lads that I played with in the younger England age groups, and like from playing against like Carl Walker a lot, and you get, when you play against lads
Yeah.
over the course of the years, when you start playing against them year on year on year, you start to build a rapport. The year before that, I was in the England squad, so I got really close with Fabian Delph, and Delphi was there, and he was telling me all about how like Pep's brain works, and the lads can't believe some of the things that he comes out with, and some of the ideas he has. So when he did it, I wasn't surprised, because they were like, he's like this a lot of the time on a training pitch anyway. But yeah, then it happened.
Yeah.
The press thought he was hammering
you
me
up.
for no reason, but he wasn't, and we had a conversation after on the phone, and he's been good as gold. Like he's texted me here and there, like after that, like when I was at Southampton, when I've like scored, or if something good's happened, got a new contract and stuff like that. So he's
Brilliant.
he's a good guy.
Just to bring it back to Blues.
Yeah.
Just finally, what does this club mean to you?
Everything, man. Everything. It gave me everything. Like my career that I had, all the lessons, like morals, desire, hard work, like everything that, it's not going to compare it to an army, but everything that, I feel a club should do, it did for me. And that is with the added bonus of giving me the platform to be able to have a career. So not just the early development, getting picked up from school by some of the community guys to take you in, to bring you in for day release, or, or the chefs and the grounds, where everyone that played a part. It's the club itself, like the morals, the ethos, the code that they ran by. It's in me. So, not giving up, the desire, the hard work. It just means everything. There's no like one word, or there's no like one thing to describe it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's given me everything, but also to have the career and consistent, there's always things that I leant back on, that I remember in my time at Birmingham. So yeah, mate, it gave me everything. It gave me my life, didn't it? At the end of the day, and I'll always be thankful for this club, because as I've always said since talking to you guys, it's a big club, and it's always been a big club in my eyes. So yeah, man, I'm just happy that we're going back in the right direction.
So one last dance.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I would love to. Do you know what I mean? And whether it happens or not is a different story. But yeah, man, I would love to.
Nathan, thank you so much.
No, thank you, man. Thanks for having
Been
me.
great to chat to you, and we'll have to chat some more.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Top man, been great. Thanks.
Cheers, boys.